Welcome to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast, hosted by Craig Phillips and Jeff Torrey. Visit us at fantasyfootballprophet.com. And now your hosts, Craig and Jeff.
Welcome everyone to the Fantasy Football Prophet podcast. I'm Craig Phillips, joined as always by Jeff Torrey, and we actually have some football to talk about now today. Jeff, kind of exciting. Week 1 is in the books, almost. We got, let's see here, Green Bay, Chicago are wrapping it up as we speak. Green Bay might lose that one. It's going to be close, but we got a lot of stuff to talk about today. So might as well not waste any time. Let's just jump right into it. What was your biggest takeaway from week 1 then? It's a Sunday, week 1.
Week 1, I mean, first of all, it was just great to finally, we've been talking about it for so long, trying to figure out who is going to play, what role and how well they're going to do. And finally to see it actually happen was great. But for the most part, I think that, I think we were relatively correct on most of our thinking. You're not sure how many people are going to come back and perform week 2 that didn't really do much week 1. But the big thing that I saw was, the primetime players are going to step up no matter what. And we're talking about even Saquon Barkley, right? He didn't show up really in the beginning, and all of a sudden he did. We have Alvin Kamara, who was a big one. So if you're one of those guys, they're always going to produce. But the younger guys, the ones that are coming up, some of them stepped up today and some of them did not. And I think that is going to be the big difference. Now we're going to finally see, those middle round picks, whether or not we got them correct. So that was what I was excited about to see.
Well, and we all expected Ryan Fitzpatrick to score, 50 points in 6-point touchdown leagues, 50.3.
Which is absolutely nuts. That game was so back and forth, all offense. I don't know what to think if that can possibly continue. But the Bucs offense looked tremendous. It was way more than I ever thought they were going to be able to do. And Deshaun Jackson, man, I don't know. Is he back from the dead, or were we off on him? Is he still got life in him?
I think that's just Deshaun Jackson. He's going to do that whole boom or bust thing, and this was just the big boom week, and you can't really trust it for next week. I just feel like that's how it's going to be with him, so you're not going to want to do anything with it, but at least I'm not. Other people might. He might show up on the next episode we do with waivers, probably deserves to be there, but I'd still obviously Mike Evans played great. I'd still rather probably have Chris Godwin, though. He looked pretty solid, too.
Yeah, he did. He looked really good. Obviously 10 points compared to 26 from Jackson. But to be fair, that whole offense looked really good, and so did the Saints. And that has to be the number one. I know that there's a lot of guys that scored a ton of points, but I thought Kamara looked the part, the most today. I know I'm kind of rooting for him to be the MVP of fantasy, but he is such a dangerous player. It was crazy to watch him run the ball around the goal line, getting in the end zone, and then he's practically a receiver out there, had over 100 yards receiving. Drew Brees has still got it, so dang.
Yeah, he only had 8 carries. So this is one thing that people were expecting. I don't know, some people, we kind of figured this wouldn't happen, is he wouldn't overtake the Ingram workload, which he didn't, but it doesn't matter with him. You don't need to. It works better this way. So I guess the takeaway from that too is I think when Ingram comes back, I think his role is safe. It should be there because Kamara does not take the carries away. He doesn't need to. He's going to be amazing without them.
I agree. And the weird part about that is Ingram left and so did his carries. They didn't go to anyone else. It turned back into a pass-first offense. And I know that the Bucs put a lot of points up on the board, so they were kind of forced to throw it more. But do you think that maybe they're going to shift that way a little more, even if Ingram does come back because it was so successful week 1?
I'm not sure because that game was just that game was crazy. They were down. They had to throw it. I don't see Michael Thomas catching 16 balls again for 180 yards. That's a nice stat line to see. But yeah, I think it's going to go back more towards the run game. They don't want to get in these shootouts, which they lost this one. So I guess that defense kind of ugly. I don't know where that was. But I think Ingram's safe with what he'll be doing. I think they just realized Gillislee and Williams couldn't do what Ingram can do, so they didn't even try it. No worries. Why risk it? Why even put those guys in there? They're not Mark Ingram, so I think he'll be fine. But moving from this game, I guess some other good ones. I mean, Joe Mixon looked great, which is nice to see. We've been on the Joe Mixon bandwagon heading into the year. We're hoping his talent would shine through, and I think it finally did. But are you worried at all? But it's not worried, but it was the Colts, not the greatest defense in the world. Maybe we still need to see it against somebody a little bit better than that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see it one more week. I mean, we always want to, but I do have to say, I mean, we always thought he looked, really good. We thought he had the talent. And his numbers for this game, 17 rushes, so they definitely gave him the ball enough. And it was a, somewhat close game. 95 yards with a touchdown. And then you add 5 catches for 54 yards. And I think that is kind of what surprised me the most. I knew they were going to try to feed him the ball, but the fact that he was an intricate part in both. So, I mean, the only person that caught more balls was A.J. Green, which you completely expect. So I think that Dalton being able to use him as one of his primary weapons will help him as well. And he did. He had a good game. Once again, it was Indianapolis, but I think that'll continue. Maybe it's not going to be 150 yards with a touchdown every game, but I think that he's going to definitely have a hefty stat line most games.
Yeah, and then John Ross caught 1 ball for a touchdown for 3 yards, so that's not much to look at right there.
Yeah, it's great that he has a touchdown, but what do you make of that? Because I know we're kind of hopeful that John Ross was going to step up.
I think he'll still be involved. It's going to be A.J. Green, going to be Joe Mixon for the most part, but Ross, I think he'll start getting some more and more as we go, but maybe not fantasy relevant. And Randall Cobb just got a 75-yard touchdown pass. And Green Bay can take the lead here.
And there's Aaron Rodgers all over it. How afraid were every Aaron Rodgers owner when he looked like he was hurt for a moment?
Right. It didn't look good. He looked a little worried, but this is best case for Packer fans and most fantasy owners. That would have been terrible 2 years in a row, but Randall Cobb, what's about 9 catches, 142 yards, and a touchdown now on the night.
Yeah, and what we said too. With Aaron Rodgers at under center, he can support 3 wide receivers, and very well. Cobb 9 for 142, a touchdown. Adams for 588 and a touchdown, and Geronimo Allison 5 catches, 69 yards and a touchdown on an absolute great throw by Aaron Rodgers. But that's the great thing about having him as a quarterback. He can support that many wide receivers. So Cobb and Allison are 2 guys that probably have been kind of flying under the radar. So obviously everyone's got to wake up and take notice now. So that's great to see as well.
Yeah, I'm happy to see that from Cobb because I've always thought he's that talented. He hasn't been able to stay healthy for a while, and he showed it there, especially on that touchdown he just had. Just the speed is still there. He looked great, so it's good to see from him. Then how about James Conner? Can't go through this episode without bringing up James Conner and what he did, filling in for Le'Veon Bell. Pittsburgh did get only a tie against Cleveland, but it wasn't Conner's fault. 29.2 points in standard. He had 135 rushing yards for 2 touchdowns, 5 catches for 57 yards. He looked great. Do they need Bell?
Well, that's the big question. I think this might be the one thing that I did not see coming at all. I knew that they were going to give the ball to Conner. They weren't going to change up their style completely, especially when the weather started, being more geared towards the run and not pass. Which you saw Roethlisberger throwing 3 interceptions early and all of that. And I love that it ended up in a tie. The Browns tie their first game and they have a better record already. But I don't know. The Conner thing is very, very interesting because I don't know where that leaves Le'Veon Bell. I really thought that it made no sense for him to hold out. I think it's even more so now. But I guess the question is, how does he even save face and come back at this point? Like, do the Steelers have to kind of give him a pardon, if you will, give him some sort of grace so he can come back in and fit into that offense? Or do they just wash their hands of him and say, hey, hold out for 10 games, we save a ton of money, and then, you'll be an older back later on trying to sign a longer contract? I worry that it's going to get ugly. That's what I worry about, and I worry that Le'Veon Bell could be lost.
It's going to be strange when he does come back, though, eventually. And it's happened before when he was out when he was injured or whatever, or out, and D'Angelo Williams was the guy. But as soon as Bell came back, D'Angelo did absolutely nothing. I don't know if that'll be the case with Conner there because, Bell's he's going to be gone for this year. I don't see any way he comes back to Pittsburgh after the season. So why would they not want to start using Connor if he's their back next year? I don't know what the backfield's going to look like if it might not be all Bell like it has been in the past.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a worry if you're a Bell owner.
Yeah. It's got to be, right? And that was one thing. The only piece of advice after week 1 that I feel bad about is I was so sure that Bell was going to come back. I was confident that you could trade James Conner and get something for him because he's going to be valuable week 1. But now I'm worried that maybe that was bad advice. Maybe he's just going to be a very good running back all year. But I have no idea. That is such a risky, place to have your players at the moment.
Ugh, it's a tough spot. No one really knows what's going to happen. I guess we'll just wait and see. Wait and see what happens with Bell. That's pretty much all you can do.
I was waiting. The only thing that I was like, okay, he's doing really, really well. As soon as he fumbled, though, and it almost, turned the game around on him, I thought that was the moment where Le'Veon Bell could say, okay, I'm going to come back, and people would still welcome him open arms. But if the Steelers won that, I don't know if anyone would have really cared. I really do think people are that quick to just say, hey, you're not here for the team. We're going to move on. I don't know. It's very, very worrisome. And I have Le'Veon Bell on one of my teams, so I'm kind of freaking out a little bit.
And I have James Conner in that same league. That's what happens, Jeff, when you don't go to the waiver wire.
Yeah, exactly.
But you weren't that worried about it. I mean, I know you just weren't.
I wasn't.
I didn't think it was going to happen. I didn't either. I didn't even. I thought it was a waste of a waiver pickup with Connor actually at one point, but I guess it's not yet, but we'll see. Okay, how about Adrian Peterson? Looks like he can still play. 166 total yards and a touchdown.
Yeah, that offense did not look bad. Hey, with between him and Thompson, that backfield was okay without Geis.
Yeah, both of them are usable, looks like, right now. And Alex Smith is just going to do Alex Smith things and be a solid quarterback and get him there. Reed got a touchdown, which was nice. And other than that, the receiving crew didn't really do much of anything.
No, yeah, I think that's what it's going to be, though. I don't think we expected too much out of the wide receiving core, but the running backs made up for it, definitely. And Peterson, the fact that he had so many 70 yards on 2 receptions, that's a little fluky, but he looked great. And I think it's going to all come down to health for him.
Yep, and yeah, see how long he can do this and still go. There's no way you can get. It happened last year. Cardinals tried to run him into the ground, and he got hurt. So we'll see if he can continue to get these 20, 25, 30 carries a game and actually stay healthy. Chances aren't good, I would say that. How about wide receiver, some other good wide receiver? Tyreek Hill. What a day for him.
Oh, he is.
He's ridiculous.
Different level.
Yeah. He had 7 catches, 169 yards, 2 touchdowns, plus the punt return, 91 yards for a touchdown. This guy is good, and Patrick Mahomes looked good. I didn't know what to expect from Mahomes, so I was a little hesitant. But he showed he belongs. He showed he's going to be great. So I think any worries of him should be pretty much gone. He only threw 15 to 27, got 256 yards and 4 touchdowns off of it. I don't think there's any worries there.
No, and that was great to see, especially against the Chargers, which, maybe they're not going to be a top of the line defense, but they're definitely no slouch either. Their defense is fine. So the fact that Mahomes didn't turn it over and he got 4 touchdowns, only on 250 yards, which is, maybe he won't always, get that ratio, but he looked good. And I think when you have weapons like Hill and Watkins and Kelsey, you're always going to do pretty well if you can, keep it under control. What do you think about Kelsey, though? 1 catch for 6 yards, though. That was the one part that I kind of was surprised about.
It happens. He did it last year. I remember when I owned him. He had a game just like that. It's just going to happen from time to time. I think he's fine. I wouldn't worry unless it happens a couple more weeks now.
Yeah, I agree. I know people might start panicking because Mahomes is a new quarterback. Maybe it looks like he's not going to throw his way, but I mean, he's too good. They'll eventually get in sync.
And Kareem Hunt didn't look overly impressive. 16 carries, 49 yards. But again, it's 1 week. Just wait and see what's happening. I wouldn't put too much worry into 1 week. People like to overreact a little bit after the first week always, but I think he'll still be fine. They didn't really need to do much with him, so it'll be better, I'm sure. But there was worry about Hunt a little bit this year. Just people were thinking maybe he's kind of a fluke. So I'm not like terribly confident in it. I don't know, but what do you think about Kareem Hunt?
Yeah, I agree with your first statement. I think it's just way too early to know. I think he's going to get the bulk of the carries. I think maybe it'll be a little more up and down. last year he was very like front and back heavy. In the middle, he had one consistent kind of lull. Maybe it'll be a little more of that. Maybe one game he'll be up high, one game he'll be down low. And also, let's be honest though, the Chargers probably did, kind of form their defense thinking, hey, we're going to make Mahomes beat us. So, they knew what Hunt looked like. They knew he was good. They game planned for him. Mahomes made him pay. So I think it'll start changing up, and Hunt will have a few more running lanes.
I was saying in that same game, the Chargers there, Keenan Allen looked great again. They didn't get the win, but he looked really good. Melvin Gordon looked great receiving the ball. 9 catches for 102 yards from Melvin Gordon.
How great is that?
Yeah, if he's doing that, and still Austin Eckler is still relevant as well.
Yeah, and we thought he was, but I really didn't think that both him and Gordon would catch balls. I thought that is where Eckler would have made his mark and kind of carved out a role for himself. But the fact that both of them, between the two of them, almost 200 yards and 14 catches and a touchdown, that is crazy. That's a lot of production out of the running backs where, I wasn't really used to that for the Chargers, but maybe, they're veering away from the tight end a little more.
Well, and then Mike Williams, 5 catches, 81 yards, solid start to the year, shows some of the potential we think is there. Nice to see he's involved. Okay, here's one wide receiver performance that I honestly didn't expect. I didn't see coming, I would say. Emmanuel Sanders, 10 catches, 135 yards and a touchdown. I didn't really see that coming. I wasn't big on Sanders at all, so I'll say that's one I'm definitely wrong on.
Yeah, he outperformed what I thought too. I knew that their offense would be, drastically better with Keenum, which he did a very nice job today. He did throw 3 interceptions, but, over 300 yards with 3 touchdowns as well. Thrown to Sanders, Thomas, and Lindsey, who is going to be the darling of the NFL, obviously. So he comes out, and the fact that he got a lot of work, not to jump off of Emmanuel Sanders, but the fact that, Freeman got 15 touches and Lindsey did too. That's interesting. So, where does that leave Devontae Booker? I think that's almost a bigger question on this team.
Odd man out completely.
I do too. And I think Lindsey does bring a lot of good things to the table. So I think he can actually be utilized in the passing game more so than Freeman even. And he caught 2 for a touchdown. It was only 2 catches, but I think that you kind of start seeing how they view these running backs finally.
Yep. A little bit more about Sanders too is I wonder if Sanders is going to be the Adam Thielen for Case Keenum this year. If he's going to treat him like that, kind of in the slot, kind of like Thielen was, and maybe that's going to be his new guy this year. It's interesting to watch. You're not never the biggest Sanders guy, but I'll admit if I'm wrong on him. If he can, I just didn't see that coming. It just
he did. He really looked good, but that whole offense did once again. And Sutton, 2 catches for 45. There's a lot of things to like on this team.
Yeah, but I'm just looking at some stats there. Odell Beckham looked good in his first game back. 11 catches, 111 yards, going against the Jags defense. Nice to see. Definitely a fan of that, being an Odell Beckham owner.
Yeah, he looked good. That's great to see. Once again, Manning, I'm never overly optimistic about. He did enough to get Beckham, the balls, but other than that, he did not have an impressive game. 224 yards with an interception. And what do you think of Barkley, though? Because I know, obviously, you have Barkley on some of your teams. He is a phenomenal athlete. He's a phenomenal talent. It took him a while to get there. Do you have any kind of read on him?
That was a tough game being against Jaguars defense to top it off. But that's what he is. He's a home run threat. And at some point, he might be bottled up for quite a while. He's just going to break one. He's going to do that a lot. I think it's going to happen with him. He's just going to be, not much going on. And all of a sudden, boom, there's a 60-yard touchdown. I think that's going to happen quite often with Barkley. And it's only going to get easier after this game, I would think. Jacksonville is going to be the toughest defense they play. And they got it out of the way week 1. So I think he's going to be pretty solid. But he's going to have games where he's only going to have 20 yards. I know it's going to come. He seems like he's that type of back where sometimes he's just going to get bottled up for a while. And the Giants' offensive line isn't very good. They really aren't.
They're not. They're still not. And that's why I did feel pretty good. Like the fact that he found some daylight against the Jaguars in his, first NFL game does actually make me feel a lot better because, I knew that line was not quite ready for him. But I think his talent just kind of it takes over sometimes, and he busts out for those long runs like you talked about.
All right, now I waited till we're getting closer to the end of the episode to bring up Chris Hogan. What do you got to say about him?
Yeah, he is one that did not perform for me. I thought he was going to be better. He's supposed to be the wide receiver 1, and he just was non-existent. And the crazy part about it is you can make anyone work on that team, which is the worry. But, I mean, everyone knew Gronk was going to get his, but I did not see Dorsett going 7 catches for 66 yards and a touchdown. I think that was a strange one. I thought that would have been Hogan's place. So other than that, everything went to kind of the script for New England. But it's definitely made me worry a little bit. Let's be honest. Like, 1 catch for 11 yards is nothing to write home about. And I really thought he was going to be a larger part of that offense, especially week 1. I thought they would have some, plays in order to get him a few catches. So I'm holding my breath. I'm waiting to see another game, but it definitely does worry me.
Well, and next week they get Jacksonville, so I don't know if it gets better next week. But I don't think this is something to. I mean, I wasn't as big on Hogan as you were, but I still think this is it's the way it works with the Patriots sometimes. Yeah, it just is.
Very true.
And I mean, Dorsett was a first-round talent this is his 4th season. He was a first-round guy. Maybe he is showing some of that talent that made him a first-round pick. So very well could be. So you just gotta, I'm interested to see. I don't know what Dorsett is. It's an interesting one though. But then how about from that same game, Deshaun Watson didn't.
The other person that you're going to have to wait and see, and I'm less worried about him. He did not look very good. I will fully admit that. But you can kind of see it. Once the game wore on, it looked like he got more and more comfortable, and he started making more and more plays. He started running a little more. So I think it's more about getting over that shock of being injured last year and just getting back into the flow of things. And when Fuller comes back as well, it'll give him a deep threat, kind of open it up a little more. But, a lot of the quarterbacks I didn't expect to do quite so well did. So I think we always tell you wait on quarterback, and this is kind of why. I mean, I think Watson will definitely be dangerous to have. He's going to be up and he's going to be down and he's going to throw up some huge games. But he did not start out the way you want him to.
No, not at all. And I mean, this is why I was a little hesitant of him. Because I felt like these games were going to come along. I mean, he's going to have these big, huge games too. That's not going to go away. Yeah, and Fuller will help quite a bit with that. It's just, he's going to. A lot of this could be the Patriots. They played him last year. They really wanted to stop him. They did. That's what they were going to do, is try to stop him, and I think they figured out a way to do it. He'll have much easier opponents going forward that aren't going to game plan for him probably quite as well. So if I'm a Watson owner, I'm not going to be panicking yet. Probably really no need to panic.
Yeah, and you can't either, right? You spent too much on him if you got him. And that was the big question. It's not the fact of would you like to have him, it's where you had to draft him or how much you had to spend on him to get him. So you got to hold pat. I think he's going to be a fine quarterback to have. It's just going to be, for the price he went for, he's probably not going to be a guaranteed, top 5 quarterback like you were hoping.
And I really only got one other situation here. It's the Tennessee Titans backfield. Deion Lewis, 16 carries, 75 yards and a touchdown, 5 catches, 35 yards. Derrick Henry, 10 carries, 26 yards. Yeah, I'm just not sure if Henry's ever going to actually become that top back that we kind of thought he might be or hoped he could be. I mean, what do you think here?
Oh, yeah. I mean, here's another one that you worry about. I think that this game was very, very strange with all the delays and everything. And once again, Mariota did not perform well. Unfortunately, he also got hurt. So the quarterback play in general was really poor. I think I'm going to wait and kind of figure out what's really going to happen with this. But I think the offense in general is looking like it's just going to take a nosedive, and especially the fact that Delaney Walker looks like he might be out for the season. I mean, everything is working against him. I think Henry is still a good talent, but I'm trying to figure out how they're going to be able to use all these guys in order to, try to win some ball games now.
It's not looking good right now, I'd say that. Lewis looks like he still could be interesting no matter who's there, but Henry just, I don't know, hopefully people didn't spend too much to get him. But I don't know, that's about all I have. Anything else that stood out to you?
Just how bad Buffalo is. I mean, they're so bad that they made Baltimore look like a powerhouse, and I really couldn't figure out what the heck to make of Baltimore. They had 6 touchdowns to 6 different people, three running backs, 3 wide receivers. Flacco looked like an all-pro again. I really do think that Bills are just going to be really, really poor all season. And the question is McCoy just, the worry was why we didn't put McCoy higher up in our ranks, even though he's a very good player, is because exactly this. And I'm worried that it's worse than we even thought, because 7 rushes for 22 yards, 1 catch for a -1. There's just nothing going with the offense. It didn't matter what McCoy did.
No, it really didn't. He's going to have a struggle this year because that team is bad. And they're going to be bad. They have 2 terrible quarterbacks. It looks like I can't even go and say anything about the other side of that, the Baltimore side in that game. And Alex Collins didn't do anything, and I'd like to gloat, but I can't really say anything because that was such a weird game. I don't know what to think. So that's a situation that'll have to play itself out yet.
Yeah, and the other team too that I just want to bring up, that they do have a talented player in Ezekiel Elliott, but we were worried that offense wasn't going to be able to do much, and it really came to fruition this week. I know Panthers are, they have a pretty good defense, but Dallas did not look good. Dak Prescott didn't have anywhere to go with the ball. Luckily, Elliott did salvage the day, 15 rushes, 69 yards, and a touchdown. But that looks like that is going to be a rough offense to get off the ground as well.
I think Tony Romo could come out of the booth today and play better than Dak Prescott is.
I love the Romo love, even after he's been retired for a while.
He's still probably better. Then I guess there's one tight end out there that did decent. Eric Ebron, he had an okay week.
Go figure.
Right.
Actually, the one other guy I want to have you comment on before we go is I have to know how you're feeling about Minnesota. First of all, Garoppolo, I don't want to say I told you, because I think Vikings are very good defense, so I think he will get better and better and better. He was half in, half out kind of today. There's a lot to talk about with this game, really. How do you figure? Let's start with San Francisco quick. How do you look at that running back situation? It was about 50-50. Do you think that's where it's going to stay?
Yep. I think it's just where it's going to be, and it's going to be frustrating, actually. You're not going to want to play either one of them. I think the only player, because Goodwin got hurt, which just sucks. The only player I like from this team right now to use is going to be Kittle.
Yep. And the Goodwin injury. Oh, man. What a bummer.
Yep. Well, we'll see how that ends up going, because that is a disappointment. So, Kittle's about the only guy I want right now. Well, shoot, Minnesota side, Latavius Murray got quite a few carries.
He did, but it kind of works out because Cook looks like they're going to be using him more as a Kamara type player, where he does get more. He got 16 carries, so it's a very good amount. But he got 6 catches for 55 yards as well. But how did you like watching Diggs and Thielen go at it? Because once again, they both looked very good.
They both look good. Diggs only got 3 catches, which I'd like to see a little bit more, but at least he got the touchdown. Make it a solid day. Thielen looked good again. New quarterback doesn't really matter. Cousins looked pretty solid. I think they're just going to be a solid offense all year overall there. And Rudolph just gets his touchdown like he does.
Yeah, they have a lot of weapons, so maybe they'll spread it out so not every game is going to be a monster, but I think that team is going to have quite a few stars on it. But, Thielen, Cook, even Treadwell got a couple of catches. Good to see. Rudolph. So I'm very interested in Minnesota moving forward, obviously.
But all right, I think that's going to do it for the first Sunday of football. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll have waivers for you. Go through some of them. It's not like there's any sure thing, guys this week, but there's definitely some interesting guys we've talked about here today. We'll talk about on our waivers show. We'll talk to you guys then.